Hello everyone and welcome to episode 7 of our modded series. How are you doing? This episode I'm going to start with Avaritia because it's the mod to end all mods, but it's going to have a very tough and difficult start. So let's get started. The difficult part of Avaritia is the tiny piles of neutron. You get them from a neutron collector, and every 8 minutes. So you need 9 of those to make a nugget, and you need 9 nuggets to make an ingot, and you need a gazillion ingots. So to get 1 ingot from 1 neutronium collector, you are going to need 8 hours. And that's not a time that I have, and considering that I have a lot of warp, we cannot do that much AFKing. So let's make 64 of them. In order to make the Neutronium Collectors, we are going to need an extreme crafting table. One extreme crafting table. And now we can take a look at the recipe. So, how bad are you? Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's okay. Although I used an energy condenser, this was a lot of resources. I lost a lot of nether stars. So we have a stack of neutron collectors and it's nighttime. It's always nighttime. So this is the speed that it's working with. When it reaches 100, I get a tiny pile of neutron. So you can see how time consuming this can be. These things on their own, they do not cause a lot of lag, but in order to extract the tiny piles of neutrons, you're going to need item conduits, or I don't know, item ducts, hoppers, or anything. And since you're using 64 of them at least, that could be laggy. I do not want to have this in the overworld, and I prefer to have it in the end. But for now, we're going to have this setup, and it should be fine, until we make a small base in the end. And when I want to make a harvest, I just excavate them completely, they will drop the tiny piles of neutrons, and we should be fine. At least that will be our first harvest. I'm so excited, it's almost time. Yes, we have 1 tiny pile of neutron, multiplied by 64 because we have 64 devices. Welcome to the end. So we're going to make an ender render in order to farm Enderman so that we can get dimlet parcels. Because we're going to need a rarity 5 or rarity 6 dimlet part in order to use Rftools Dimension and make an emerald world. Because our supply of EMC is limited. The nether star farm is doing great, but it's not going to be enough in order to make the singularities and the infinity ingots. In Project Ozone you have the wand of animation, and if you make 9 of the infinity ingots you can turn them into a block, animate that block and farm the mob, and you will get infinite number of infinity ingots. In this mod pack we do not have Erebus, obviously, so we're going to need a sustainable source of EMC, and I cannot think of a better thing than a world made of emerald blocks. So this is why we're going to need dimlet parcels. You know guys, it would have made much more sense if I would have put the drop of evil first and then put the dark glass, because now I have to break it, place it and put it back again. All I need from this farm is dimlet parcels, and we're going to void everything else including XP. For that I'm going to use a liquid trash can and the vacuum hopper will pump it inside. So we're also going to need another trash and an ender chest, a different channel because I want the dimlet parcels to go into a separate storage, and I just have to set the filters. Well, it's not a good rate, but we have 3 dimlet parcels and that is good. For some reason that I do not understand, Enderman head gets stuck just out of the range of the vacuum hopper. So I'm using an item collector from Cyclic, and we can set a filter for this to just collect Enderman head. You see, I already have like 100. So we're going to void the rest of them. We're not going to need that much Enderman head anyway. I'm making another stack of Neutronium Collectors, and we will have 128 of them. So every 8 hours they will give us 2 stacks of Neutronium ingots, which should be good. And I'm going to set it up in the end, and we're going to hook it up to item conduit. Since it's in another dimension, lag should not be a problem. And I talk about lag and there's lag. It's because I traveled to the end twice or 3 times, I don't know. And this is why we have a little bit of lag. So let's make a harvest and also take these with us. Ah, we have a pile of neutrons. That's nice. So I brought them here, and the problem is that I never checked if they actually collect neutrons in the end. Yes, they do. That is nice. So I'll just make a pile and I will bring you right back. You know, the painful part is attaching the item conduits, because it's 128 of them and I don't think I can use my builder's wand. Yeah, that would have been amazing. Anyway, I also brought a conduit probe and I can just copy and paste the settings so that I don't have to open the GUI 128 times. So we just set this one to always active and that's it actually. Shift right click, and then if I right click on the other ones, the settings will be copied. Well, this thing is complete, and now we are generating tiny piles of neutrons, and it will go into an ender chest and into our ME system. This is good and it's lovely. It was worth the effort. We just have to cover it with carpets and we should be fine, because the stupid Enderman actually teleport here. I don't know why. Well, I was doing some calculations. We need 12 neutronium compressors in order to make the singularities, and that's more than 300 neutronium ingots. At this rate, we need 3 harvests, and that's like 24 hours of me being logged in. So that's way off. We're going to need a lot, and we have to concentrate on other projects while this project is going on. Talking about other projects, there is something that I always wanted to do using golems. Unfortunately, golems are not very smart, so I have to mix and match applied energistics. These 5 animals are also used for the cosmic meatballs and the ultimate stew, so it's not a total waste of time. These animal feeders will feed the animals to breed, and they are filled in by applied energistic system. There is an animal baby separator which separates the babies, puts them inside this pen, and there is a seal for a butcher here who will butcher them, hopefully. And here we will grow our crops. I'm literally using the applied energistic system as an item filtering network, so I could have used Xnet, I could have used Enderio, but the problem is that I don't have good storages in this mod pack, so instead of chest I had to use an ME drive. That's the reason I'm using AE2. And if I provide them with power, these should start planting the seeds and the potatoes and the carrots. The farmer golem will only harvest and deposit the harvested items inside the chest, which will be imported into the separate ME system. That's the role that the farmer golem will do. This guy will also do the same. I do not want them to do provisions and supply chain or anything else, because if you have several golems in a small area, it gets so complicated so easily. So I made a golem based on the requirements of the farming seal, and the requirements are that it has to be deft and it has to be smart. So you cannot use any golem to do anything. I don't want him to replant crops because that requires him to go to a chest and gather some seeds. It requires actually another golem. So this golem should be able to harvest stuff and deposit it inside a chest. You're not depositing stuff. Why aren't you depositing stuff? I have the thing in my inventory, sorry. It's actually not his fault. So we also have a collect seal, and if we set the area correctly, that should also be fine. You're fine, right? Yep, he's doing his job. That is good. That chest is hooked up to applied energistic system, so everything gets imported and then gets replanted again. And our butcher golem has to be smart as well as a fighter, so I'm using one of our bodyguards. He will start working when those animals grow, and he will also keep one pair for breeding. The problem is that I cannot get over that programming, but this should work. I lost my butcher. What? Really? You're gathering resources? I have to color code them. So if we set this seal to red, and if I give a red dye to this golem, he will be red. What the? That's actually funny. They will not interact with each other. And I also have to put this one to red as well, and I will dye the butcher golem as blue. Obviously this is not the most efficient farm, and it's mainly a hobby. So it needs a lot of tweakings because I have a lot of problems. The babies keep getting out, and I don't want to cover that baby separator because it will look ugly. Not that everything else looks beautiful. Well, so far this episode has been the most difficult for me to record because I have a lot of plans for golems and none of them work because golems are not as amazing as I thought. Anyway, I was thinking why can't I discover Eldritch, and in all the mods 3 I discovered Eldritch and I had theories in Eldritch. This time I could not, and I'm guessing the only thing that I'm missing is void metal. So we have to make some void seeds and some void ingots. And thanks to all the mess that I have made during this series, we have a lot of taint. There is no shortage of lithium crystals. And we have 1 ingot. Cool. Teach me something new, please. Aha. It's not Eldritch, but hopefully it's good enough. And this one is not working for some reason. The void metal essentious metal requires a theory in Eldritch, so I'm guessing now that it's a requirement, I should be getting a theory in Eldritch. I'll do some research and I will bring you back. Yep, that was the requirement, so I just have to unlock this void metal thingy and then I can research in Eldritch. Cool, now I know. I want to progress in blood magic, and unfortunately because of self-sacrifice that beacon is not being very useful because it gives me regeneration 1 and I think I should get into EnvironmentalTech and make a nanobot beacon. I do not have access to Ionite, so I have to check which modifiers I can make. Well, luckily I could make 2 regeneration modifiers and that will give me regeneration 2, but unfortunately I could not make saturation or flight module because they require ionite crystals which I don't have access to. So for now this will do, I just have to switch the modifiers and we should be good to go. So these are the modifiers that I'm getting, and as I said, unfortunately some of them require ionite crystals which we don't have right now, but we're not that far off because we have plenty of the 3rd tier crystal and we should be able to upgrade our ore miners very soon. Now that regeneration is no longer an issue, we can go ahead and update our blood altar to the 5th level. I want to do that because I want to get into crystallized demon will as well as the sentient armor and make some of the sigils that I think they would be fun to use. So I will do the upgrade and I will bring you back. The 5th tier of orb requires 80,000 millibuckets of life essence in one go, and this thing only has a capacity of 56,000, so when it gets low enough I have to stab myself again to have a consistent supply of blood. So the timing has to be perfect. This is all because I'm not doing sacrifices and I'm doing self-sacrifice, so 30,000, 20,000, 15 we stab. It should work. Ha ha ha, we have it. Cool. I don't know, for the 6th tier I need 1.5 million millibuckets of life essence. I don't know how I'm going to do that without sacrifices. I dropped it by accident and it seems that an invisible cow is carrying my sword. Are you real? What are you? It has health. So do you stab me? Do you stab anyone? Can I stab you? Can I punch you? I can punch you. So can I kill you? Will you drop anything? No, just my sword. Huh, that was weird. The demon will crystals do not have a recipe in the JEI, so I thought I should maybe explain how you make them. You're going to need them in a lot of recipes and also to upgrade your Tartaric Gem. We already know how to make the weak blood shard, so that's not a problem. That also does not have a recipe. I've already made the crystals because I already made the blocks, you can see them on the right hand side. You need a demon crucible and a demon crystallizer, and they have to be in the same chunk because the demon crucible will release the demonic will from your Tartaric Gem into the chunk and it will be crystallized by the demon crystallizer. And if I pick this up and see how much will is inside, is 3,500 almost. We put it back and it should drain some will. No? This is kind of embarrassing. The reason is that I already made the crystals, so the chunk has demonic will inside. So that thing should start working. Let's make a few of them. After some time, these things will start making the crystals, and it's also a good idea if we put back our Tartaric Gem inside the crucible, because these things will draw a lot of demonic will. So we have to wait. And now we have 9 demonic crystals, which is great. You can also let them grow and gather more demonic will, and they will grow into bigger crystals and they will drop more shards. I made a very interesting sigil, the sigil of suppression. Look. It's amazing. You can literally go guardian hunting or whatever you want to do. Does it come back? Yeah, it does. So if I turn it off, what will happen? Huh. Oh god, yeah. Imagine doing that in lava. Because it actually works with lava. This is so cool. I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but you're going to need a lot of demonic will in order to grow the crystals. So I think by now I've killed like 3000 spiders and maybe 500 skeletons, because spider junkies are not that rare. There are 5 types of demonic crystals. One of them is the tier 1, which you're going to need in order to get the other 4. The other 4 will give you a lot of buffs in your sentient sword and in your sentient armor. So we have to work towards them. There is a ritual and we are going to need some items. I will do the crafting and I will bring you back. 1 ritual diviner, which is like your assembler from EnvironmentalTech. 1 ritual activation crystal. A lot of ritual stones. And a master ritual stone for every ritual that you're going to make. And since things have changed, you have to upgrade your ritual diviner to the dusk version, because I was looking for something that didn't exist. So with this one, I hope it does exist. You just have to right click and find the ritual that you want. I'll find it and I will bring you back. This is exactly like assembling an ore miner, so you just have to select the ritual that you want and hold right click. It will assemble it for you and make the different blocks. Cool. That's it. We need a crystal cluster and you make it in the Hellfire Forge. And then we put the demon crystallizer on top of the master ritual stone and the crystal cluster on top. So when it grows after I don't know how many hours, we should have different types of demonic will crystals. Alright guys, I forgot to mention that you also need a demon crucible and a Tartaric Gem inside in order for the other ritual to work, otherwise the crystal will never grow without any demonic will. So there is another ritual which is called the Cleansing Soul, and I'm going to do that because we have plenty of time until our crystal grows and we have to use it efficiently. So this ritual will remove the upgrades from my living armor and give me upgrade pieces, which I can combine them later on in an anvil and put them again on the living armor. So it's going to be great and it's going to be amazing. We just right click on the ritual pedestal and everything drops off. Cool. So the upgrade points on my armor are now 0 and I have literally no upgrades on the armor. The good thing is that we get these upgrade tomes, and if we combine them in an anvil, we will get higher tiers of them. It's literally like combining enchanted books and so on. And when we get the highest tier, we can put it back on our living armor and life will be amazing. You know guys, it's been 7 episodes that I've been nagging that I don't have big chests in this mod pack, and we have strongbox. If we upgrade it with a resonant kit, the storage is more than enough. I don't know why I haven't been thinking of this. I guess now it's time to make the Sentient Armor Gem. This is going to be amazing. And if I press right click, it will change into a Sentient Armor. It's provided that I have a Tartaric Gem in my inventory with demonic will. So this thing will keep the enchantments of your original armor, and depending on how much demonic will you have, it will give you armor points. So we have around 16,000 demonic will in our Tartaric Gem. This thing is almost indestructible. And depending on which type of demon crystals you use, it will give you additional buffs. So this is what we are trying to achieve in this episode. I was reading the wiki and apparently there is a ritual called Ritual of the Living Evolution, and it will give you additional points on your living armor. I did not know that. It will increase it to 300. Let's give it a test. It's a very expensive ritual because I ran out of life essence. Oh yeah, it's been increased from 100 to 300. That's very cool. I didn't know. You know guys, one of the reasons that I came to this place was this biome, because I love the color of the grass, I love the trees and everything. But the problem is that I forgot and put the wither farm there. The sky is weird, so I cannot build anything. There is a block from Extra Utilities 2 called the Terraformer, and if we give it the right ingredients, it will convert this place into the same biome, and it will change the color of the grass and the color of the leaves, which is going to be amazing. We just need a biome marker, and it's designated to shield, and we put it inside here, and it will tell us what it's going to need. Range is set to 0. So what do you need? Dehumidifier. That's it. So this block requires power. I brought a quantum entangloporter, and we are going to provide it with power like so. I don't know which side is which, so I just turn all of them on. And then we need to put the antenna and the dehumidifier next to it. Cool. And then we're going to provide the dehumidifier with cacti, because it requires either cacti or sand in order to operate. I had plenty of cacti, so I'm providing it with cacti. And this thing requires RF. And now that it has RF, it should start working. So where are you working? Minus 316, 1131. Huh. It's not moving though. Are you changing something and I can't see it? I did something wrong. The antenna goes on the dehumidifier and not the terraformer, so now it should work. This is a very laggy process, but you can see that the color of the grass is already changing, and that makes me happy. If we increase the range to 64 by 64, I'm hoping that it would be finished in 1 or 2 hours, so I can live with the lag. Our crystal has fully grown, and if I activate the ritual, and yes, we have all 4 crystals. That is great. You're also happy, right? Yeah, enjoy the happiness. I don't know why I did that, sorry. Alright guys, it's also time to wrap up the episode, because I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I've actually lost my voice. So that's a problem. Also, in order to farm those crystals, I have to make clusters, I have to feed them demonic will, and it's a very long and tedious process, which we cannot do it in one episode. So we will continue this project next episode, and we will also do other projects. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.